When I played the game for the very first time, I was actually shocked because the black level floor in HDR and also in SDR is just terrible. And on top, I was not even able to get the game running in HDR on the Game Pass version on the PC. Just the Xbox Series X actually provided me with some sort of HDR experience. A very bad HDR experience, by the way. Now we have an official mod where we can enjoy proper HDR in Starfield on the PC. And the name of the mod we are talking about in this video is Luma Native HDR and more. And this mod was created by very talented people. Ursh, Pumbu, Lilium and Short Fuse. And by the way, a big shout out to Pumbu and Lilium. Thank you very much to both of you for your great support. When you have installed the mod, you have some additional settings under the display options, like you can change the display mode from HDR10 to HDR sCRGB, which in theory should gives you a slightly better HDR picture, but I stick to HDR10 in this video. Then we have peak brightness setting, which is the maximum peak brightness in specular highlights. The game paper white setting, which is the average picture brightness in the game. User interface paper white setting, which as usual is just the icons on the screen. And then we have extended gamut, saturation, contrast, and LUT correction, color grading strength, and gamma correction. So those three here actually, the most important settings in my opinion, especially two of them. And yeah, we're going to talk about those two in more detail. And I would strongly recommend that you install Reshade, because then you can use the same settings as in the display options, but now you can actually see that there is something happening in the game when you change settings, like the peak brightness setting. And my waveform is telling me that this game actually can output maximum 10,000 nits, which is perfect because for upcoming TVs like the LG G11, we would need roughly 8,500 nits. This is perfect for future proofing. Anyway, let's move on. Game paper white setting is the average picture brightness in the game. So you can change this as you like it. Just keep in mind that if you increase this value too much, you may blow out some details in specular highlights. So usually a value between, let's say 100 to 300 is absolutely fine. For recording reasons, I just leave it at 300 at the moment. And then we have the paper white user interface paper white setting, which is just the icons on the screen, and you can change this as you like it. And now let's talk about the most important settings, what we are getting when we're installing this mod. We're getting the gamma correction, LUT correction and color grading. So this right now, the picture what you can see here is the original look. The only difference is there is HDR10 activated right now with the mod, but the rest is absolutely the original look. That means we have this greenish filter and we have a very terrible HDR black level floor. And now we have actually two options. You need to decide for yourself if you like to keep the greenish look and just get a better HDR black level floor, or maybe you want to get rid of the greenish look and also have a perfect HDR black level floor, because this is what we can do now with the mod. So let's say you like to keep the greenish look of the picture, which by the way I would recommend, and I'm going to explain to you later why. But let's say you just like to keep this greenish look and you just like to have a better HDR black level floor. So all what you need to do is actually increasing the LUT correction. Right now standard setting is 0, but when we're increasing this to 100, you can see we are getting a perfect HDR black level floor. And I can actually show you this here in the corner a little bit better. So this is with perfect HDR black level floor. This is the original look from the game, which is in my opinion really not nice. But this is the only thing what you have to do. You keep the original greenish look, which again is my recommendation. And on top you get a very great HDR black level floor. But now let's say you don't like the greenish look at all and you just want to get rid of it. And on top you like to have a perfect HDR black level floor. So in this case, all what you need to do is reduce the color grading to 0, because this is removing the greenish look. And on top, it will also get you a perfect HDR black level floor. As you can see here right now in this example, it is just doing the trick. I, again, personally prefer that you keep color grading strength to 100 and also you increase the LUT correction to 100 as well. And here is why. And now let's talk about HDR colors. And what you can see here right now on the screen is the HDR color space analyzer. And everything what is yellowish at the moment is the DCI-P3 color space. So everything what is black and white, like outside the spaceship right now, is the Rec 709, which is the SDR color range. So right now, this is the original look of the game, just with HDR enabled. That means we have the greenish look, but also the very terrible HDR black level floor. And my recommendation was that you actually keep color grading at 100 and you increase the LUT correction to 100 to get a perfect HDR black level floor. And now suddenly we have a lot of blue color as well. And the blue color, what you can see here right now on the screen, means nothing else than BT 2020 color space, which is exactly what we like to see in an HDR game or HDR movie. But we need to keep in mind that this color space is not present all the time. Like here outside, there is actually nothing going on in regards of HDR color space. The outside on this planet at least is just in SDR colors, but that doesn't mean anything because it still looks awesome. And the reason why I recommend that you keep the greenish look in the game is because we're getting a lot more HDR colors, as you can see here right now. And as you remember, I actually provided two solutions to get rid of the washed out look. So this is one solution where you just increase the LUT correction and color grading to 100% and you get HDR colors and no HDR black level issue. The other option was actually that you just keep the LUT correction at 0 as it is and you just decrease the color grading also to 0, which also gives you a perfect HDR black level floor. But as you can see here right now, less HDR colors. That's why, again, my recommendation is actually change color grading to 100 and also change the LUT correction to 100 as well to have a perfect HDR black level floor plus great HDR colors. Okay, my friends, so that's it for this very quick video. Let me know what you think about this mod in the comment section. And my last information is actually that Bethesda is working on an official update, official patch to add native HDR to the PC version. I'm not quite sure exactly what they will do in this patch, but I hope, of course, we have some settings like maximum peak brightness, or let's say like this, I hope that we have similar settings as in the mod. And I'm looking forward actually to test the native upgrade or the native solution from Bethesda with or against this mod, because this mod is, in my opinion, changing this game a lot in regards of HDR. Very much to recommend. Thank you very much for watching me and I see you guys next time. Bye.